What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Whole Views. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to be talking about Madea's Homecoming on Netflix. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't so far. We get most of our views from the unsubscribed. We would appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button and come back and check out more videos, more movie reviews, more Firearms Friday, more trailer reactions, and just things in general that we throw out on the channel. Today we're gonna be trashing the new Madea movie. I have never been a fan of Tyler Perry, but I'm always willing to give him a chance. I was not anticipating looking at this, but my wife said, hey, let's look at this tonight. So I said, you know what? Let's put it on. Let's see what Tyler Perry gives us for this. You know, you always want to support Black movies, Black creations, and things like that. So let's put some support and give a chance to Tyler Perry's Madea's Homecoming. And I just gotta say, 2.6 is still kind of generous. I did not enjoy it. I don't think it was good. But what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do positives on the front end, and we're gonna do spoilers on the back end and break down why I feel like it was such a bad film. Tyler Perry as the Madea character, if you watch the entirety of the movies, he always gives such good common sense advice. Whether it's marriage advice or whether it's parenting advice, is given in a comical way, yes, but it's good, solid, common sense advice, and it's stuff that most people probably wouldn't reach, like a conclusion that most people probably wouldn't reach on their own because they wouldn't put in the work that's necessary to get to that point. So Tyler Perry as the character Madea tends to dish out some real good common sense conclusions that people can come to in marriage and parenting and everything else in his movies. That is a thing that he does. And I must admit, it's solid advice most of the time. Things that you can take from the film and apply to real life. Kudos to Tyler Perry for always doing that. He always does that. The messaging is always pretty clear, right on the nose, and it's good, solid stuff. The problem and the issue that I take with Tyler Perry is that all that good advice always comes wrapped up in a crappy movie. A movie that's just not good by, I feel like, anybody's standards. My wife, again, I will drag her for this. She was the one who said, let's watch this. And probably about halfway through, she was like, ugh, I'm ready to kind of turn it off. So it's not just me hating, it's fans, because she's been watching and rocking with Tyler Perry since the plays in college, like early 2000s, been rocking with Tyler Perry. And she was just like, this is dumb. That's how she felt. Probably about halfway through, we was ready to turn it off. Let's talk about the story. I give the story a 2 because the story to me was predictable until it wasn't. I feel like all the gay stuff, the gay storyline, telegraphed. And I'm sure everyone will say, yes, that was telegraphed and it was obvious from the beginning. And to me, the entire story was obvious until it wasn't. The only curveball that was thrown in was so unbelievable, and that was the best friend with the husband. Now, again, I don't know if it's acting, because I will address this again, or if it's just being so familiar with Tyler Perry's work that, to me at least, when the best friend showed up on screen, I knew she was gonna have something to do with somebody's man. Like just the way she's dressed or the way she's presenting herself, the lines, the attention that's given to her character. I don't know what it was, but when she showed up, I knew she's gonna be the side piece for somebody, and like she's gonna be the backstabber for somebody. That's coming in this with her character. The whole idea of the roommate sleeping with the mom, super whack, super unbelievable, all the way took me and my wife out of it, to the point where my wife was like, oh, this is dumb. This would not play out like this. None of this would happen. And staying on that thread, the son, from finding out about his roommate and his mom to his graduation speech, I'm talking about no character development. Things just happen. We just move things along to get to the point where we give this horrible speech delivered with no emotion, no passion. And it's like, everybody's gonna stand and cheer because he came to the point of accepting this overnight, like literally overnight. Nothing happened. There was no montage of him being angry. There was nothing that showed the emotional process that he went through. He just went shoot basketball, talked to Madea, woke up the next day and said, I'm ripping up my speech and I'm gonna talk about my problems in front of the whole graduating class. of the smallest college in the history of colleges. Like, I don't know. That all the story elements that I just mentioned, just things that happen throughout the movie. Stupid. 2 out of 10. Not good. Visuals, I feel like I'm being generous, giving it a 2 again. We got some cheap sets. And again, maybe the set's not as cheap, but it do feel like the same stuff that Tyler Perry always uses. I know he got his own production studio. He's gonna recycle stuff, and that's just economical. That just makes sense. It's continuity with the Madea, whatever. But it's the same old cheap sets. You shot a graduation in a field and dressed it like a football field. It's like cheap transitions between scenes, like with different parts and people like showing up and falling away, and it's like that's never been there before. Like that starts showing up like halfway between the movie. It's like, what are we doing with this? This is cheap and cheap looking. And again, the acting, I don't know if it was the lack of story given to some of these characters, the way people was written, but it's just like, okay, let's make things happen, and things just happen. It doesn't feel like anybody was truly invested as a character. It feel like we was watching a whole bunch of amateurs do this, and these are not people who are amateurs. I'm sure they're trained professionals that's doing this, but it didn't look convincing. And I don't know if it's the way it was shot. I don't know if it was the cheap transitions. I don't know if the fact that we seen you doing the same things in the same house all the time, like all that stuff was just, it wasn't impressive. It just wasn't impressive visually. I'm sorry to be coming across as so harsh, but it just wasn't good visually. I didn't like what I saw from the characters or from the special effects. Oh my God, when Brown was on fire, like, just have this gag run way shorter than that. Shoot it in a different way to where you won't have to have those horrible effects. And he was engulfed in flame for that long, and he come away with a few burn patches on his shirt and his pants. It's like, let's just do better, or not do that. Like, do it in a different way, because there's better ways to do it. To be quite honest with you, I feel like the pace and the entertainment value is the only thing that's like really keeping the score out of the negatives, in my opinion, because the pace, I give it a 5 because it was never slow. The story was so bad that I wanted to turn it off and not finish watching it, but it was actually never slow. It never slowed down. And I give the entertainment value of it a 4 because you'll laugh, because the gay jokes, as cheap as they are, and I'm sure there's going to be somebody somewhere on the internet that's offended by the fact that there were so many gay jokes. They were funny. And you will laugh. But at the same time, if you're trying to pay attention and like really care about seeing something good, you'll be annoyed by how almost rushed and just thrown together this feels. So yeah, pace 5, entertainment 4, rewatchability, goose egg. I am not rewatching that. I can't recommend it to nobody because, again, my wife was a Tyler Perry fan before watching this, and she's always been up to watch everything he's done. But we couldn't get through this. We didn't get through this without her saying like, oh man, this is not as good as I hoped it would be. And I've heard people talking about it, and I just thought it would be better. And I never had high hopes for it because, again, one, I'm not a fan, and 2, it's like, this is what he does. This is what Tyler Perry does. And again, kudos to him. I'm not hating on the fact that the man is rich. Like, hey man, get your money. You doing these movies, you cranking them out. People are watching, people are talking. I'm making a video. There's gonna be plenty of eyes on him and what he does. And I've liked him as an actor in other things. Alex Cross, even though that movie didn't necessarily do well. I liked him a lot in Don't Look Up, although I thought he would have had more to do. I enjoyed seeing him there. I always enjoy seeing Tyler Perry act. I don't necessarily like his writing and his production. It always comes across as cheap and rushed and not well acted, or the wig work is horrible. There's always elements to it. The effects, the way things look, just don't look right and don't feel well done. And this is not me hating on Black anything. It's just like, hey bro, if you like it, you like it, and if you don't, you don't. And this is me not liking it. Really didn't. And I know there's detractors out there that'll say things like, oh, like if y'all got so much to say about Tyler Perry's movies, like you make your own. It's like, come on, it's not what nobody's trying to do. We out here trying to be pundits. We trying to give our opinion on film. And my opinion on this one is not good, man. It's not good. Don't waste your time. Unless you're a huge fan and you just want to see the Madea character do anything, well then go ahead, give it a shot. But if you really want to watch something good, watch something else. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good, because this ain't it.